Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now another massive bullish signal is flashing on this Bitcoin chart as the price is moving closer towards major liquidity to the upside, which could cause another short squeeze here in the short term. But with that being said, on the smaller time frames, the Bitcoin RSI is now starting to move into overbought territories, while Ethereum is still playing out this bullish divergence, but is now running into some major resistance, getting closer towards a potential breakout. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and of course in my last video I talked about a major breakout here in the weekly Bitcoin RSI, so in case you missed my last video, definitely check that video out. But basically all you need to know is that right now we're seeing a major breakout in the weekly Bitcoin RSI, which is a rare signal to pay attention to, because usually on the weekly time frame things take a very long amount of time in order to actually play out. So this is a massive bullish signal that we're seeing at the moment on the larger time frames, and is usually acting as a major bull market signal, signaling a major bull run that could happen over the following months or even up to a year or so. And if we're taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, at least as of right now, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, but ultimately on the 4-day time frame, this will flip back into the green if we see a breakout above around 71,500, or on the 3-day time frame, it would flip back into the green if we see a breakout above around 68,000. So ultimately, as I've been saying recently here on the channel, especially on this 2-day time frame, the level to break is really at around 68,000 approximately, because above that level, we're breaking out above this massive descending line of resistance, and also breaking out above this previous high, which is sitting closer towards around 69,000 give or take, or if we're looking at the candle closes, is at around 68,000. And so of course, as I've already been saying basically every day over the last couple of weeks here, the short-term trend is still bullish, as I've already been saying for a while now on the channel. But in order for this shorter-term bullish trend to turn into a longer-term bullish trend, not just another short-term bullish trend during the larger bearish trend, in order for it to turn into a longer term bullish trend that could last for many months, basically a bull run, we need to first confirm a breakout above this line of resistance, once again at approximately 68,000, and then we can start flipping a lot more bullish, not just in the short term, but for the larger time frames, expecting more of a bull run over the next few months potentially. And so we're now basically at that turning point. We're just waiting to see this final breakout here. But of course, the short term has already been bullish for some time here. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we've just seen another drop to the downside in the DXY here in the short term, continuing the short term bearish trend in the DXY, which once again, if you've been watching my recent videos here on the channel, you'll know that this is a very bullish signal for the price of Bitcoin. And so, like I've been saying over the last few weeks, this DXY has been looking bearish in the short term, which means we should be expecting bullish price action for Bitcoin here in the short term. And so far, over the last couple of weeks, this has been playing out pretty much exactly as expected. But now with another drop to the downside in the DXY, forming a new lower low in the short term for the DXY. Once again, that's another bullish signal that we're seeing right now for Bitcoin. And right now, we are creating a higher high in the price of Bitcoin, while the DXY is creating a lower low. So these are still basically inversely correlated or having a negative correlation. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, of course, I mentioned in my last video here on the channel that we basically confirmed the breakout above this previous area of resistance. And so now that should be acting as new support, and that's sitting in between around 64.1k to 64,500. And since my last video, we've actually further confirmed the breakout by actually seeing a daily candle close confirm above 64,500. So this officially confirms the breakout. And as I said in my last video, the next area of resistance to watch out for is sitting at around 67 to 68,000 approximately. So expect the price to potentially struggle right around there, around 67 to 68,000. But once again, if we can see a breakout potentially soon above 68,000, whether it's very soon or potentially after rejection, either way, if we can see a breakout above 68,000 with confirmation, that would be an extremely bullish signal, not just for the short term, but for a longer term bull run. because ultimately if we break out above 68,000, the price structure on this daily time frame would be extremely bullish, as we are breaking out above this significant high right here and above significant resistance based on the volume profile indicator. So ultimately the next step after 68,000 would be the all-time high at around 73 to 74,000, and around that area we could find some resistance, but ultimately the main resistance to watch out for once again is close to 68,000, around 67 to 68,000, and once we clear that, expect all-time highs within the next few days or weeks after we clear 68,000. But remember, for now, that is still currently acting as an obstacle. And so if we potentially see a rejection first up on the first attempt here, if we see a rejection from that resistance, in that case, once again, this should now be acting as support at around 64.1k to 64,500. And if we were to see a breakback below that area, of course, in the short term, that would be a bit of a bearish signal. But in that case, we have some more support at around 63,000. And we have this major area of support right here in between around 60 to 61,000. And so those are the support and resistance areas that I'm currently watching for the price of Bitcoin. And obviously when it comes to the trend right now in the short term, as I've been saying basically every day since all the way back down here, once we confirmed the breakout above around 57,000, it was at that point that I started to flip much more bullish again here in the short term. And especially after we broke out above around 61,000, these were the times to flip a lot more bullish in the short term when it comes to the short term trend. And ever since then, I have still been bullish this whole time when it comes to the short-term trend for the price of Bitcoin. But of course, these trends do not necessarily move in a straight line. We do see the occasional short-term pullback or sideways consolidation during the bullish trend. And if we're zooming into a slightly smaller time frame, looking at the 6-hour chart, right now the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI is once again entering into overbought territories. And the last time we saw this was a little over a week ago, around 1.5 weeks ago approximately. And we saw this a few other times here on this 6-hour Bitcoin chart. And basically what we ended up seeing was reduced bullish price action, at least just for the next 1 or 2 days, but not necessarily the end of the bullish trend. So sometimes we can see a decent amount of bearish price action or a bit of a pullback, or sometimes we could just see a bit of a sideways consolidation, not necessarily bearish price action, but ultimately it's telling us that we're running out of room to the upside just in the imminent short term. So sometime soon, maybe within the next 1 or 2 days, we could expect that the price will start slowing down the bullish trend just in the imminent short term, maybe for a day or two, in order to basically reset the RSI, which can give us more room to the upside in this bullish trend. And so that could potentially start happening as the price of Bitcoin starts running into this resistance close to 67 to 68,000. So just keep that in mind. We still have that resistance to watch out for. And as the price moves into that price range, once again, we're looking slightly overbought here on the slightly smaller time frames, meaning we could perhaps see a slight cool down in the bullish trend as we're running into this resistance. But once again, that does not necessarily mean the bullish trend is over, because we can struggle around resistance and then break out, especially after seeing a bit of a reset in the RSI, which gives us more room to the upside later on. And so overall, the trend is still looking bullish here in the short term, but it's just important to understand that things do not move in a straight line. So do expect the occasional sideways consolidation or slight pullback during the bullish trend. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus. But that's only if you use the link down below this video to make your Bybit account. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000, but that's only if you use the link below this video. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. And also the second link below this video will take you to this Bybit page right here, where you can actually claim a free 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade just by signing up using that link. And this is an exclusive bonus, which means if you don't use that link, unfortunately, you cannot claim this free airdrop. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use the link below this video, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that is only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so once again, as another option out there, an alternative exchange other than Bybit, there is Bitfinex. Links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we are currently seeing a bit of a short squeeze at the time of recording this video, with the price of Bitcoin moving to the upside, taking out some upside liquidity here. And as we're liquidating this liquidity to the upside, basically liquidating short positions, that is squeezing the price further to the upside, because as short positions getting liquidated, that essentially means they're having to buy back into Bitcoin in order to pay off those short positions. That all happens automatically, which pushes the price further to the upside, liquidating more short positions, and that's what a short squeeze is. And so as I've recorded this video, we're currently taking out this liquidity at around 66,000 to 66,500. So by the time you're watching this video, we might have already taken out that liquidity. But with that being said, we still have some liquidity close to 67,000 and a small amount of liquidity at around 67,500. But the main area of liquidity, once again, is sitting at around 66,500 approximately. And we do have some liquidity to the downside. First of all, some liquidity at around 63.8k and a decent amount of liquidity actually at around 62,500. But with that being said, it's important to remember that the trend right now is still very bullish just in the short term here. And it's also important to remember that between the current price and those lower levels of liquidity, like 62,500, between the current price and that lower level of liquidity, there is some decent support that we have right now that could support the price if we were to see any sort of short-term pullback. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now we're continuing the major bounce from this massive area of support, still sitting in between 2150 to 2.2k, and we also have some support right here at around 2450 to 2.5k. And for resistance, we have this previous Fibonacci level of support, which was significant support back here, and also now acting as new resistance, and that's sitting at around 2.8k, and that is a critical level on the price chart, because if we break out above 2.8k here on the 3-day time frame with confirmation, so candle closes above 2.8k, that would be extremely bullish. That would be a very bullish price structure here on the 3-day time frame if we can break out above 2.8k. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, technically this bullish divergence is still actively playing out, which is what I've been saying basically every day here on the channel over the last few weeks, since all the way back down here, actually since below around 2.3k, I've been saying we have an active bullish divergence. So we should be expecting most likely a bullish relief, or at least some choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcomes from a bullish divergence. So once again, right now, the bullish divergence on the daily time frame is still actively playing out. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from this swing high at around 3,500 down to this swing low at around 2.1k, we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level of resistance, which was sitting at around 2,670 approximately. And we also have this 50% retracement level sitting just above 2.8k. So once again, 2.8k give or take is still acting as a significant level of resistance. But right now, we have had a bit of short-term resistance close to 2.6k approximately, around 2,660 to 2,670. But obviously, as you can see right here, at least at the time of recording this video, we are potentially seeing a breakout in the price of ETH above this Fibonacci level of resistance. So especially if we can confirm this breakout with a daily candle close confirming above around 2670, then that would be a very bullish signal, at least in the short term, likely resulting in a continued continued bullish relief up towards this next resistance close to 2.8k, and once again that should be acting as a major obstacle for the price. But if we can break out above 2.8k, then we'll likely see a move up towards around $3,000 as the next resistance. And while this short-term bullish trend is continuing, if we're looking at the 3-hour time frame, this previous bearish divergence is well and truly invalidated right now, which obviously I talked about in my last video. I said we're basically at the point where the bearish divergence is no longer playing out. It already played its part here in the short term over around 2 days, but now with the price making a new higher high in the candle closes, and also with the RSI having already broken out here in the short term above this descending line of resistance, these are invalidation signals to invalidate the bearish divergence. So ultimately, we're just continuing on with the bullish trend or bullish relief from this larger bullish divergence on the daily time frame, which is still actively playing out and has been active basically this entire time over the last few weeks. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, right now Solana is running into this major area of resistance where we've previously seen massive rejections from. So this is an important area to pay attention to, and that's sitting at around 159 to 163. And so we could potentially struggle around this area as of right now, but if we see a confirmed breakout above 163, then in that case, the next area of resistance to watch out for is sitting in between around 170 to 175, and above that we have a significant area of resistance right here at around 183 to 187. And also, if we were to see a rejection from this resistance that we're running into right now at 159 to 163, in that case, there's the possibility of an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming here on the daily time frame. So just keep that in mind. Even if we saw a rejection here in the short term, that could just form a much larger bullish pattern. But either way, despite the price running into resistance, which can still make the price struggle in the short term, we're still looking bullish when it comes to the trend right now. And remember, the trend does not move in a straight line. So even if we see a slight struggle or rejection around resistance, that does not necessarily mean the bullish trend is over, because we could perhaps see one attempt and then fail the first attempt and then see a breakout. That's always a possibility. So just keep that in mind. But right now, the bullish trend is still intact here on the daily time frame, as I've been saying since the moment we broke out above around 140, give or take. And of course, even before then, we have had this active bullish divergence, which is still playing out right now on the daily time frame. And if we're zooming into the 8-hour time frame, right now we are still potentially forming, not confirmed, but still potentially forming a bearish divergence on the 8-hour time frame, with higher highs at this point already confirmed in the price in the candle closes, while lower highs are still possibly forming in the 8-hour Solana RSI. But it is important to understand that this potential bearish divergence that's forming is not yet confirmed, which means we don't have any confirmation signals as of right now, which basically means the bearish divergence is not active. It is not playing out at all and may never play out if we don't see any confirmation signals. And the confirmation signals that I'm talking about is basically at least a couple of red candle closes confirming here in the price action on the 8-hour time frame, which can help to cement the lower high in place in the RSI. So essentially what we need to see is a bit of a rejection in the RSI and actually confirm this lower high in place, because for now, if we just keep pumping here in the short term and never see that confirmation, of course, that could drag the RSI further to the upside. And if the RSI surpasses this previous high right here, then that means we have higher highs in the RSI and higher highs in the price, which means there's no divergence. And so for now, this is just something to pay attention to in case the price perhaps struggles around this resistance. And if we start to see a bit of a rejection, there is still the possibility that this bearish divergence could form and actually confirm here in the short term. But for now, it's just something to watch and nothing to really act on as of right now, because it is not confirmed. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.